That building needs tore down,
Where's
at Pleasant View.
Oh. Well, I think we've got to consider selling them as is to start
Right.
with, if we can get any bidders.
Well,
Because when we start tearing down, that's costing us.
well, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it too.
I mean, out here in Hamlin, we probably need to keep the property, but if the only way we can sell the building, sell property too, we need to do it. If somebody'd be interested.
Hamlin's another, Hamlin and Pleasant View are the ones that have a lot of asbestos, and for us to remove the asbestos and to get them torn down, you're looking at a lot of money.
Yes.
Where at Aidenville, once again, I don't think there would be a lot of that. At Hart's, probably not.
Hearts, where the roof leaks are now, they're not disturbing the asbestos acoustical ceilings, which is one of the things you have to be careful about are roof leaks.
Right.
The roof leaks on that second story of the building where the asbestos is in the hallway, and it's not in the hallway, it's in the classroom. So it's not being disturbed the last time I was up there. The gym, where the roof leaks are, is not disturbing any asbestos. It could eventually, if it continues to get worse, it could eventually maybe damage the wood gym floor, but there's no asbestos in the gym floor too, just yet.
But if someone was interested in that for some purpose, whatever it might be, they could probably, go in and use that building just with routine maintenance then.
Yes.
Which, once again, distinguishes Pleasant View and Hamlin Junior High from those, I think, it might, at least in my mind, because I think there's going to be more involved there. But we have to make a decision, like Mr. Curry said there, out here at Hamlin, we'd always talk about if we were able to get rid of the building, then we'd have additional parking. We'll have to weigh that versus if we were to just sell it outright, that maybe we could develop parking somewhere else at a lesser cost. That'll be our next step, but the liability is the immediate, it's been a concern of mine for a long time, and it continues to be, because, we're responsible for what happens in these buildings when we own them. And especially when we hear that some of them are being used without permission of anyone. That's just an accident waiting to happen.
So what would we do? Would we have to put this on an action item?
Yes. That's the first step. She said the board would have to vote to say, these are surplus buildings, or whatever else she termed it, and then we'd have to vote on that. And then from that point, somehow we'd have to identify how we want to handle it, if we want to auction them off completely, or if we want to keep the land, if that was an option. How we're going to do it, it has to be stated now. But we have to declare them as surplus property first, then we proceed from there.
It'd be my suggestion that first step, we auction them off, put them up to auction them off. And that's where you've got the right to accept or reject any bids. If we get no bidders on them, or if we get a low bid of Hamlin and Pleasant View, then we'll think about another
That gives
option.
the option, you get to look at each one and
Yes.
say that, well, we got this offer, is that good or bad for us?
That's exactly right.
And we don't have to accept any of them.
Do we want to do all four at the same time?
That's what I would say.
I mean, it's what we have to decide.
I
That's,
mean, I would, so,
No,
we,
we don't need to drag it out.
well, like I say, if we do all four, then we come back and say, well, on second thought, after look at this, we don't want, well, we don't have to do that one.
Right.
We haven't lost anything. So,
The only thing, I think we need to do something with all four. The only thing I would like to weigh out is what it would cost to tear down Hamlin Middle School and Pleasant View and keep the land, if you could use parking in Hamlin.
well, at Hamlin, you're probably talking to take first you have to go in and take all the asbestos out. Dana,
There's been a lot of questions about those two, so I know a little bit more what it would cost with those two facilities than I do the others. There are more unknowns at the others that I don't know. At Hamlin Junior High, I would estimate, to remove that building at $94,000. At Pleasant View,
And that's just the asbestos.
no,
That's
that's
the whole-
demo,
Is that the whole demolition?
that's
Okay.
demolition, that's the removal of the asbestos roof, and the floor tile and the glue. At Pleasant View, I would estimate the total cost at $126,275. However, there's one unknown that I haven't tested there. The issue kind of went away before I could get to do that. I have not tested any of those underlaying roofs. I know what's on top, and it's not asbestos. But if they left roofing materials under the modified bitumen, that there's a 50-50 chance that it could be asbestos, which would raise those costs dramatically.
Well, so for those two buildings, you're talking $200,000.
Yes. And that's with some unknown at Pleasant View.
There is a problem.
I would suspect that you probably won't get good news at Pleasant View. That's one of the reasons they covered some of those old build-up roofs, is because they had asbestos in them. They didn't want to spend that much money to remove it, so they just covered. And of course, there's only so many times you can cover those roofs, and still get a decent warranty with your new roof.
All right, so we have to give Mrs. Lucas a little direction here, as we want to put that on an upcoming agenda. Do we want to just put all four of them on there and see how it goes, and if we don't want to
That's
accept
what
one,
I'd say, see how it goes.
and if we don't, we'll come back off of it.
Sounds good.
Drop back 10 yards and punt again if it don't work.
There you go.
Well, and we need to address it, whatever the outcome is. Maybe there'll be people who want some of this for some reason. Start a new business in downtown Hammond.
That'd be a good place for the paper.
It would be, I was thinking of that.
I'll say it to Tom.
He can expand.
Yeah.
You can have your own wing, Sean.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that'd be on the window shop.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Okay, we're at the deferred retirement plan.
Yeah, just, someone came before the board in the fall to, discuss this plan with us. We currently have, what is that called, a 403B plan, which is a tax sheltered annuity, and it is, just almost identical to the 457B. The 457B is just simply a tax sheltered, program. We can put money away for later on for retirement purposes. I haven't had anyone come to me and request the 457B plan. And I think we have all of our bases covered with our current providers. We actually have, one of our biggest carriers is ING, which is Charles Smith, and he does a wonderful job with our employees. And when I looked at the state-sponsored plan, it's actually provided by ING also. So we already have, this in place. It's just a 403B instead of a 457B. So unless you guys have some knowledge that I don't know, we're covered.
Well, wouldn't this also put extra work on you and your office?
It's extra work in finance office, yes, yeah. And like I said, we already have, with the 403B, you can tax shelter up to about $17,000. And I don't know of anyone that wants to tax shelter more than that. And I haven't, and like I said, no one has requested that we have a program like this. So it's my recommendation, unless it's the desire of the board, that we do not approve this.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Me.
Okay. We're not interested. We don't have any money. Okay. All right, any other comments or concerns by any member of the board?
I did have a that question to be left around. Could you check and see if it would be a lot of effort to put wireless in here for me?
Go get him. We have wireless in here. Yeah. You just have to have the access code.
He just thought he was getting one.
It'd be very useful for
It would.
tweeting from high-profile, personnel hearings, things like that. Drive up our web
You'd
traffic.
have to have someone on the inside.
You gotta have an inside man.
I know.
Or one.
Me, because I don't move.
You can't do it.
I can't do it.
And you're just pleading ignorance. We know you can't do
Better
that.
get one of them buzzers.
Gary comes. There he is, Gary. Good enough.
Is there any way you could fix us some wireless in here for the board members and maybe Sean? Would that be?
I can do it, but it's illegal for me to do it.
Oh, God.
We don't want to do it then.
But what we can do, I mentioned a while ago, I thought we could probably put an antenna on top and run a booster here that you could get cell reception in this room.
Why is it illegal? Because,
Because-
the other counties, a lot of the boards are using iPads.
If it's a board owned, if the board owns it, then I can hook it up. But with your cell phones, they're personal, your own personal phones, and I can't hook that up to the network.
So if I purchased them iPads and it was,
If they have iPads, if we purchase it, we can hook you up. But if it's on your own cell phone, then that's a violation.
I'll take a 32 gigabyte.
Sean can have mine.
I don't have any bites on these.
Well, would you guys want a small laptop?
No.
No.
Okay?
I just would be happy with wireless.
but you couldn't use your personal phone.
What about my personal iPad?
No, not your personal, it would have to be a board purchase
It has to be a board-owned
For-
owned device.
only for
Well-
board use.
There is a way that you can do it, but I don't think you will like the results, because I would have to put, a program on your cell phone that, limits, blocks a lot of stuff. And, and filter on there, and it would be, it's pretty severe. But we could look into the possibility of getting cell service in this room. We can do that.
Danny, on my phone here, when I turned it on, it select a wireless network and it has Lincoln. If I break the law, if I tap on
You
Lincoln?
can tap on all you want, you can't get in it.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Feel free to tap all you want. You can't
Alright.
get in it.
I've tried, believe me.
Since that camera's aimed right at me,
Yeah, you can,
I
So
wanted to
you're
clarify
saying that if we have our own iPads, we couldn't use them
right,
here?
but if you have a board purchased iPad, then you
Then we
can
could
use it.
use it?
Yes.
And that's the same out in the schools, the teachers are not allowed to use
Right.
their own personal. So if, the board has purchased them, the iPads, then they are able to use them, but not if it's their own.
Because there's a lot of boards that went to paperless,
Right.
and everything is in a cloud. And
County buys that equipment for them. And it's for board
They
use.
get board docs, and they don't have a paper agenda.
They wanted an accept paper, some of them,
Right.
Ohio County or somewhere.
Oh, yeah, they go on the board docs.
But we could, if you wanted to do something like that, we could look into that, but,
Is this a state policy, is that what it is?
Federal.
Federal, okay.
right. It's all tied to E-rate funding,
Okay.
is what it is.
Thanks, Danny.
I knew he would have some.
It's just full of good news.
If you were sitting over for the window, you could probably get better service.
If you hold it right up to that glass, you can get cell service. But you have to hold it right on that glass, and that's touch the glass.
Do you want me to look into getting you cell service in this room?
Or iPads?
Oh, if we open this room up to cell service, this room would be full through the day. People would be
I
running
can turn
in
it
here.
off. That's what the board's need.
Look,
Now, I tell you, I did have a suggestion from, well, the principals that I should purchase you all, a touch screen, like the iPad that has some kind of a,
An iPad?
is it, no, I don't know what.
The new laptops with the touch screens?
What does
Like
Kim
a
have?
Tablet, the tablet.
What does Kim have?
The new
Oh,
computer
the new, the yoga pad?
Well, whatever it is.
that works, looks like you've got an iPhone almost. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the Google Nexus.
Is that what it's called?
It's an Android tablet probably. It's either an iPad or an Android tablet.
Well, I know she used it the other day, and she said, when you all were doing the highly qualified, and she said she was just able to get through it much faster than anyone else because of the.
That's that new Windows 8 laptop.
Okay, that's what she said the board should be able.
I thought I needed.
Is it
Yeah.
big though? Is it big to?
Yeah, Danny bought me one.
Hold on a second, I'll show you one of them.
Yeah. I actually have one, Danny. I've been waiting. I didn't do the iPad because it wasn't beneficial. I needed Excel and Word, so I waited and gave my iPad back. And so now there's a new laptop out, and it operates with the apps, and you just scroll through it, which I think would be great for the board members to have.
But you could still like keep your calendars
You
and.
can do everything on it, yes, you can do everything. And then if you're here, you know, you can get onto the network, you know, we can just start emailing things. We can work into it slowly.
Save the taxpayers money on mine.
I was going to say.
I mean, we do the same thing. We just move on.
Yeah, and Pam would.
Everybody around me can find things out for me.
I didn't
If
really
you,
need to live
It's not really that big, is it?
this is pretty big, but, touch screen here, and, I'm gonna,
What is that, Windows 8?
yes.
How you like Windows 8?
It's a big learning curve.
It's different. Everything runs off of apps, doesn't it?
And this, if you look here, I'm gonna, if you just flip this over, it becomes a block website. Anyway, if you look, this is your desktop, just a regular Windows desktop. If I flip it here, then I have all these apps through here. And once you turn it over, you notice the keyboard becomes, in this particular one, it doesn't, it disengages the keyboard, and it's all by, and it's quite a bit different than what Windows is.
I played a little bit with Windows 8. I have a lot of trouble, like on the internet, researching stuff. You'll find stuff that won't read unless you have to download an app or something to read.
Yeah, these are, all of these apps are all free apps except this here, and this is Word in here. But this is just stuff I tried just to see what, it has different functions in it, and just things on there that I've tried. This one doesn't have any paid apps on it. But you know, something like this, you can get it, I guess, you can always, it's made for layout in front of you, and then you can, and they have different models of this. This one just happened to be,
And what Dana emailed to us like tonight, we could have pulled it up on that.
you know, you can pull it up on that, and just, you can pull it up and just read it here if you want to, on it. This particular one, it's got a solid state hard drive in it. It doesn't have a regular hard drive in it as what you usually have. It will, if I would restart it and start it up, it'll restart within, in under a minute. I mean, it's really quick coming up. If you notice, it's really, really light. And, well, maybe I'm really, really strong.
It's really, really light.
Thank you, Mr. McHugh. But anyway, we could get you something like this, but it is Windows 8, is a big learning curve. took me a half an hour just to figure out how to turn it off when I turned it on.
Denny and I sat through,
That would never go off.
we sat through one webinar or something, and I'm like,
Well, there's no start,
Denny, I think
start
I'm
button
way
on
better
that.
than handle.
You gotta go over to the settings over on the right side.
I haven't been able to, I haven't
Yeah,
done it yet, but you can actually download a start button app.
Okay.
That will allow you to put the start button back on here and allow you to do that.
And that's what you have, Bertie?
Yes, I have one of those.
Are you-
Yeah, I waited. I love it. What I like about it is it's so lightweight that, you know, you can just throw it down your handbag. You guys could throw it in your man purse.
Don't put it in your pocket though.
See, we just, you know, it's wonderful, and you know, if we want to everybody wants to kind of move into the 21st century, you know, I think this is the way to go. You know, it'd be great, you can get online, you can follow anything that we're doing, you can sit up there, read the agenda.
The only, for me, I'd rather just look at an antenna, and the reason for that, all my electronics I buy myself for the simple reason I'm on 3 or 4 different boards, and plus my day job. If you got a school electronics, I can't be on my day job on it or vice versa. My laptop, everything I got, I buy myself and I use one. Instead of carrying 4 laptops around with me, I have one that I bought and I use it for everything.
We can put it in and turn it off and on, I mean, it can be set up to turn it off. We can have phone cell service in this building, in this room.
I didn't realize it was illegal for you to put us wireless in here where we could just,
I put a booster on mine at home.
And we would have to run just an antenna up on the side of the building, just run it and put a booster on the inside of your.
It's the same thing. But I went from like 1 to 5 bars instantly. Okay.
thank you.
Okay, any more from Danny, before he escapes?
He's
again?
done broke my heart now.
So is it illegal for me to like pull up the agenda on this
No.
while I'm here?
No,
I mean, if I can get it up.
if you can get it out. I don't know how you're gonna get it out.
she's not gonna be able to get it on.
You're not gonna get it, you can't use our, Wi-Fi here, and everything is encrypted. And not only in the schools, it's a little bit different version too. I can give you the password to it in some of our schools, and you still can't get in it because you're not on the domain. So,
Could Sean and I go in together and split the bill and just get our own internet service coming into a corner of the building and?
We could, but,
Gonna run that past Tom. Okay, thanks, Danny.
Think about it, Danny, see what would be best for us. Just keep rolling it over.
to bring the internet in, it's still a iffy thing. Even though you're not getting any rate on it, it's still because of the school system. You would put me in a tough place if I got on
We
it.
won't do that thing.
Are those expensive?
Did you hear that, Danny?
Danny. Are those expensive?
$1,000. It's $1,000.
That would be a yes.
And, this one here was 6 weeks wait. I put in for it almost 6 weeks before it was even available, and then I had to wait almost several weeks there before I got it.
We know you'll make good.
It took a while. I got it on, I couldn't get it off.
Okay, we're really going downhill now. Anything else? Any other, Mr. Wilkerson, do you have
Well,
something?
I had something I wanted to discuss, but I think, after thinking about it, I think I'd like to come a little bit early, maybe on Thursday, and discuss it with Trish.
Okay.
And then we can decide what to do.
Let her take care of it, huh?
Yeah, put it off on.
Okay.
Anything else from any board members? If not, Trish, do you have anything further?
Just stay tapered.
I wondered, does the Lincoln Journal have any plans to get an app?
We haven't needed to because our website works very well on the basic browser on an iPhone or an Android phone. If you just open Safari on the iPhone or I guess Internet Explorer, whatever it is on the Android phones, our website renders very well. So we haven't gone down, and it doesn't cost it. It's costing us nothing. If you pull up LincolnJournal.com on your iPhone just as a website, it converts very well.
Yeah, that's what I've had to do. I'll go to Google or something, I'll go in there and enter and find it, but I like just pressing that button.
See what I can do.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll adjourn. Okay, we're going to adjourn until March the 7th, 2013, at 1:00 p.m. to continue a personnel hearing. And then we'll reconvene in regular session on March the 19th, 2013, at 6 p.m., both at the county office.
I'll make a motion.
I'll say,
Smith, all yes?
yes.
All yes.